And the beauties of a quarter sawn piece of lumber. This is a piece of pine that's been laying out here drying for 2 weeks, not weighted, not tied down. And look at that. Look at that. Straight, flat, not cupped. That is amazing. That is amazing. Versus a piece like this. It's more flat sawn. You see the real fat wide grain. And we see it's got a bow in it. It's got a little bit of a bow that way, but a definite bend in it this way. It's stayed mostly, it hasn't really twisted. It's got a little twist. The far end is off. But that's just amazing to see two boards, same log, same environment, and to see how much more stable one has sat here and stayed compared to the other. And it really is just based on how they were sawed out of the log itself. Quarter sawn is nice and straight. I guess rift sawn, I think, is actually probably your best. Rift, you have all your grains right there in it, all perpendicular. That's going to be absolutely your strongest. But quarter sawn's pretty good, and flat sawn's pretty crappy. So you guys probably know that already. Just a note, when you're looking for good lumber, if you're having to dig through the piles at your retail box stores and you're trying to look for what's going to be a good straight board, look for this. Look for that as much as you can. All right, that's all. So I just got some bonus logs. Did a little tractor job for a neighbor yesterday. He had this tree, had the power company come cut it down because it was really close to a power line. So he convinced them to come cut it down. So they took it down, dropped it, and blocked it, and left it in his yard. Of course, they left it in these massive pieces that are, you know, the average human couldn't even dream of picking one of these up. They're about 20 inches in diameter. Solid red oak, about 20 inches in diameter, 3 feet long. So yeah, the average human's not going to pick this up and move it. The homeowner would have to take it and, you know, cut it in half with a chainsaw and then split it, really, to be able to handle it. So anyway, the neighbor requested me to come pick it up and just move it. He just wanted it shoved out of his yard and into a pile where he could burn it with the rest of the tree. But seeing what it was, seeing that it was red oak, because when I looked at it the other day, I wasn't quite sure. I thought it was red oak, but the tree's been down long enough that there was no leaf ID available. This deeper furrowed dark bark here was what I was looking at to say that it was red oak. Some of this lighter stuff up top might get you thinking that maybe it's like a water oak or something. Not a white oak by any means. White oak is shaggier. So anyway, he wanted me just to push it up and burn it, but then once we cut through a few pieces and I confirmed that it was red oak, which is easy enough to do. You make a fresh cut in red oak and you see red. So it's oak and it's red. It's a red oak. Or potentially a pin oak. But pin oak has a slicker bark. Anyway, just wanted to brag, I guess, a little bit for the Sawmill channel. I got, so, you know, he paid me to come just get them out of his yard. He didn't care where they went. So I loaded them on the trailer and brought them home. Getting them off the trailer was a little bit fun because they were on the trailer, which meant I had to leave the tractor at his place. Brought them home, had to get the cant hook and spin them around onto the trailer, and then my wife helped me get them rolling and get them off the back end. A couple of them had like a knot on them there, which made them a little awkward to push off, but we managed to roll them all off by hand. And then I had to pick them up and bring them back over here. So I just set them out here by the Sawmill. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I'm just going to try to see what sort of, you know, short stock boards I can get out of them. I'd love to, you know, you can flat saw it and get a board that's 20 inches wide, but I think I'm actually going to try to quarter saw a couple of them just because I haven't, you know, I've never actually quarter sawed anything on purpose. So I think I'm going to quarter saw them just for fun and see what I get. You know, I'll still have some boards that are easily, you know, 7-8 inches wide when I quarter saw them, at least some of the bigger ones on the inside. And then if we decide we want something wider, we can always join them back up. So, you know, if they're long enough, I haven't actually put a tape on it, but they're 3 feet, maybe a little over. If they're long enough and potentially, you know, and aren't split out on the ends, you know, you could do something like stair treads out of them, or just, you know, use them for just basic little boxes, you know, cabinet doors if it's a smaller door, you know, right? This is something I've been looking at for the sawmill and thinking about more as potentially a niche market, because, you know, everyone wants a big log, a long log, a wide log, you know, which for me, something like this massive pine is impossible to handle on my little mill. I don't have any hydraulics or anything. It's all manpower. So I just assume it'd be a little smaller. But something like this is so short that most people say, well, what are you going to do with that, right? It's not long enough to do anything. But that's not a reason to reject it. Your big mills, they won't buy a log any less than, what, 12 feet, 10 feet? Shoot, the pine mills won't take a saw log less than 16 feet. So it could be a niche market. I shouldn't give away my trade secrets, right? But it's an easy niche market maybe to get into, because as a small log buyer that has your own mill and is willing to accept something like this, you can buy more of the log from a client. So imagine you've got a big oak tree that's, you know, 25 feet to the first limb, 25 feet clean. Well, your logger comes and says, well, I'm just going to take, you know, 2 10-footers out of it, and that's it. And he leaves that last 5-foot block. And he'll just leave it right there in the burn pile with the whole top. Leave it, you know, leave you your mess. Well, I would come in and say, look, I'll take 2 10-footers and a 5-footer. So you're able to buy more of the log if you're buying it. You're able to take more of the log if they give it to you, but you're able to get more of the log, which means you could potentially get more of a deal to the homeowner, to the landowner, and you can get more value out of the log itself too. So you're not wasting over half the tree just by being sloppy and lazy, because, you know, if the mill won't take it, if a mill won't take it, then the logger's not going to take it. You know, he's just going to tell you, sorry, the mill don't take nothing like that, which is a shame to cut down, you know, huge trees and leave half of it on the ground because the mills don't want it. So anyway, that's my plan with this, is kind of just to, you know, try and see how much I can get out of it, see if I can feel like it's worth the time. Looking on the mill here, there's going to be a trick that I'll have to do, because those pieces, let's just say they're 3 feet. Well, it's about 40 inches between beams here, so that's not going to work on the wide beams. On the close beams here, between 2 track sections, it's about 30 inches, I think. I think I threw away my tape measure because it's all rusted and broke. But anyway, I'll be able to span these 2 tracks right here, but then I won't be able to clamp it down. And so what I'm going to have to do is build a little crib. I'll put that crib right here on the deck, clamp it down with some just C-clamps or whatever to the beams, and then be able to make my first couple of passes to get a flat side on the log. And then be able to build, you know, some sort of secondary crib where I can stand it up on edge. So it will take me a little bit of time to figure out a way to handle the short ones, just because I'm not going to be able to use the factory clamps right away. But I think I can make it work. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to show it off. Maybe it's not worth bragging about. Maybe some of you guys that have your own sawmills, maybe you've tried this and you found a reason why it's just not worth it. It certainly is a lot more up and down with the saw. You're making a shorter pass, so it's going to be, you know, more adjustments on the mill head and less actual cutting time, because you're going up and down and up and down and up and down and rolling shorter pieces. But like I said, if, you know, I got them for free, heck, I got paid to take them essentially. So if I can get extra value out of them, cool. If not, I'll play with it for a little bit, and if it sucks and I decide I don't want it, then it's still good oak firewood. So anyway, big chunks of red oak here on the sawmill, or at the sawmill. And I'll be sure to let you guys know once I start sawing them. We'll see what we get out of them.